Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice Children of the Stars is rife with mature themes and body horror. These and other content warnings can be found in the episode description. Okay, yeah, we're doing Children of the Stars. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice, actual play podcast. We are doing our Children of the Stars season. It's been a fucking second since I've done one of these intros. Doing Children of the Stars, play Monster of the Week in a Warhammer 40k themed universe. My name is M, and I play Dr. Strahd von Acula. We're talking first jobs today. So, Dr. Strahd's first job. Hold on, I went to college. That's where my brain's at. What did I do in college? I went to college with D.O.G. Oh, I worked as a canvasser because then I could like meet people and shake their hands and get a little life that way.
Yeah.
But I worked as a canvasser around campus and like for, just canvassing for different causes. I didn't get paid a lot, but that is obviously never the goal of my job.
Makes sense.
That's funny.
My name is Grace Stringer, and I play Vernon Bradley, a human gumshoe. And I think canonically, wasn't Vern's first job when he found his own shoe when he was 11, and he's been like chasing that high ever since.
Well, did you do anything before you did detective work as an 11-year-old?
He's just been a
did
detective
I
his
work
entire
before I
life.
was 11?
There are no child labor laws on this planet.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Oh beans! Now you put me on the spot. I thought I was slick with that answer.
I mean, that could just be your answer. That's totally fine. That's pretty early to start detective work.
I
mean,
feel
it's
like
his calling.
Vern either at some point in his life has messed around with shoe cobbling, maybe as a hobby, maybe as a kid thing. It just feels
I
like
know
a thing.
very many child cobblers. How many child cobblers do
We
you
could,
know?
We could dial in a little further, Vern. What was your first paycheck? How did you collect your first, how did you very first make money?
Beans.
Oh yeah, that could have been an investigation too, but what was that?
Yeah. That's a good point. It's a good point. I'd like to think that Vern grew up kind of like poor and I'm sure like a lot of this planet's poor because it's war torn and everything is half robotic and dead. And so his family was like, "Oh, Vern, yeah, you'll be a detective." And so I think his gram was like, "Here's like 75 cents. Go, find me the whatever," and just like sent him off to go, get out of the way and go solve a mystery that she definitely like
Running errands for
about.
Gam was his first job.
Love
Yeah. 75 cents, baby.
I was Gam's professional assistant.
Yes, that's what he put on his resume for sure.
God damn,
That's the
that's
first thing.
funny. And Gam is an incredible person to have on your resume. She'll gas you up.
Oh, for sure. Gam doesn't fuck around.
She worked.
She's all about that yes and. She's like, yeah, of course. He was such a good worker,
Vern
timely.
worked for me for a decade. Never a problem.
Loyal.
No complaints.
Exactly.
Well, hey everyone.
I imagine before she became, or even like knew she was fine, Alice worked at an orphanage.
Hey, wait, but who are you?
But who are you and who is Alice?
Oh, my bad. My name is Dante, and I play the divine Alice Bohomme, a sadistic divine being who hates monsters and kind of loves humans. I mean, not wholly, but. And she did at one time work at an orphanage.
Work in an
For
orphanage.
a reason, he grew up in it.
She grew up in an orphanage. Did she grow up and then like work in the orphanage?
She grew up and didn't quite like inherit it, of course, but she was at the orphanage.
Okay. Was that all tied into the church? This feels like a steady through line for you, like growing up in the orphanage, working in the orphanage, and then being pushed towards like church work and then being like higher and higher,
Makes sense. I'd say,
Like a pipeline.
yeah, like kind of coerced into it. Although she's like, what else do I have to do? I'm an orphan.
I mean, what else do we do with the kids that like have nowhere to go in this grim dark universe? We funnel them into the church.
The orphanage
Unless
church
the church
pipeline is
become
definitely
divine.
real.
100%. That feels. The more I said it more about it, I was like, yes, yes. This is
we
dark.
have that very long before this. Just continues. It's just a through line.
Back in the 2000s.
Back in the ye old days.
Hey everyone, it's me, Gabe Stringer, your fifth favorite internet friend. I play D.O.G 24601, detector of bread crimes, all around mechanical dog, except for the parts of him that aren't. And D.O.G's first job, he was a food delivery bot. He like a just wheel around from place to place. He would deliver the food, and he sort of that was his in to detecting things, because he it's not safe being a food delivery bot in the 40K universe. It's sort of a gauntlet. And if you can survive that gauntlet, maybe you're made of sterner stuff. That's how he got his sensors.
Are you loyal to one specific food place, or were you like a DoorDash driver?
That was my question too. Yeah, DoorDash
like,
driver.
Are you a Jimmy
like
John's boy? Yeah.
Did you have like an oven in your chest for the pizzas, or did you just go pick up the bags?
Because I thought he was born detecting bread.
Dogmanos.
That's actually, Dogmanos. Dogmanos is pretty good. Because I was trying to figure out, because I definitely still look like the bot that I was, except that now I have meat bits, more of them. So definitely Dogmanos. We all were dog-shaped bots.
The protein choices are only house pets from the early 2000s.
Terrible.
To really connect it back to some listener out there.
A small cow pizza. Delicious.
I have one more follow-up question that I'm going to regret asking. Besides the head, what other dog bits does dog have? I thought it was just head on metal body.
There's some internal bits too.
The head comes off the body though, right? But you can't do that if the lower extremities are attracted by meat.
Who's to say?
There's a lot you can't do in this game, but
I thought the head was meat, and the rest of the body was.
The head is meat. The head is vintage dog. The rest of the body externally is metal. His on a horse you'd call them socks, but I don't know what they're called on a dog. Just like the ankles, I guess, look like dog on the outside. They are,
it's just like a cuff of fur.
Yeah, it's a mark of status.
The feet are meat?
The outside of the feet are meat. They still split apart into the horrible filaments, and that's what makes the filaments so bad.
Dog skin boots, but actually meat gloves, but they're dog meat.
Dog in meat boots. And on that note,
the regular sentence structure of the past 4 sentences have been terrifying.
Would you even say grimdark? Hi, I'm Lawrence Jennings. I'm your DM here in our little foray into the 41st millennium. So I've got a quick little flashback because we haven't played for a minute, but we're in quite the situation right now. So let's figure out how we got here. So after some fish talk, Strahd von Acula decided to take firsties on sneaking through the doored pipe, because there was a little J-hook and everyone was afraid to get wet. So Strahd used his abilities to not be wet and decided on a jellyfish because they don't need to breathe. Who knew? Through the secret pipe passage, Vern and Dr. Acula found the scene of the most recent theft. There was still a rock grinder, and that rock grinder was getting loaded by some of the miners. Back in the HR manager Orm Subam's office, D.O.G had his moment alone with his new extreme sports pal. Orm, looking forward to the future of dirt biking with Dog, told him that in exchange for protection, he will come completely clean on everything that he knows about the crimes happening at the mine. Orm says to look into the work stoppages. They seem weirdly organized, and that Reva Kayak seems to be somehow connected to that situation. Alice, on the lookout outside of Orm's office, spied both Reva Kayak and Garbula de Garl heading out of the break room in opposite directions. Back to Vern, swimming through the pipe after being beckoned by jellyfish Strahd. They spied the miners loading up one of the rock grinding trucks, the same thing that was stolen originally from this crime scene. Those two folks that were loading the back of the truck, you did know, Strahd, you recognized one of them from the surface. It was Faustus Chael, the guy who was very insistent about not really working while he was on his break. And we also heard off in the distance Reva Kayak giving a pep talk in her typical Reva Kayak way to some miners about how she couldn't believe how long it was taking them to finish whatever it was they were doing.
And I would say that from the players, at least from my point of view in that moment, I feel like it felt that we were now in on the secret. Like, Reva Kayak is in charge of this and is telling these people shit. At least that's what I felt at this moment. I just wanted to get back into that, like, brain space, because it has been a hot second.
So after that, Strahd, you failed a cool move where you got out of the pipe and tried to turn from a jellyfish back into a person in midair. You did do that, but you made a really big noise, which alerted the miners. You turned into a rat and sort of stood out in the open, hoping to complete that disguise. You did so as both Faustus Chael and Garbula de Garl returned to the truck. They loaded a few things, and then they decided that they were done and they needed to go take their breaks now. And they were convinced by the rat disguise, so that went well. After a long wait, Strahd returned into being a humanoid. Continued to investigate the car. Back in Orm's office, Alice and D.O.G decide that their next move should be to violently question Reva Kayak. The group ended up rejoining each other at the scene of the crime, and you guys had an recap. I'm not going to recap that recap because that would be Inception.
Absolutely.
We can't get in there. So at that point, some miners approached. Alice and Vern hid in the pipe. They spilled a lot of water on the floor. Strahd and D.O.G hid under the car. The miners uniformly approached and got Alice and Vern out of the pipe, and they all together at once said, "You're supposed to be on a break," which is suspicious to say the least. And then combat began.
Unsettling.
After some time, the current situation is, Vern, you are on the ground with a broken nose because D.O.G hit a guy with a pipe so hard that it hurt you. That guy is unconscious, but otherwise you have two other folks scrambling with you on the ground, Vern. Additionally, you have one forward from a move that Alice did, so remember that you get +1 on your next roll, Vern. Alice, you have two miners directly in front of you. D.O.G, you are sort of off to the side. You don't currently have anybody attacking you.
And I've
Dr.
just done
Acula,
something spooky.
You are currently doing a little brain drain on one of the miners that you pulled off to the side.
A brain job is what I call it. Sorry.
Hey.
Yeah, a good. Yep, that's what it is, a brain job, of course. And you had this series of visions. The ones that you may recall is you saw the face of Reva Kayak. And then you also felt a massive shadowed entity that you couldn't really interact with. But as you are leaving this sort of state of absorption with this miner, this is where we're going to pick back up. It's sort of like trying to communicate with something that doesn't speak the same language as you, but as you are pulling away this connection, you are able to catch one word in a language you can understand. And that word is devour.
Devour. That's a shitty word.
And now we're back into turn order. So I think we should have Vern, you go first.
Yeah, it feels like I go last.
Yeah, so I'm on the ground. Just want to double check. I'm on the ground, broken nose. That's a bummer. But the guy that broke it is unconscious.
Correct. Well, no, dog is still conscious. But the guy that dog
yeah.
that
Yes.
thing broke your nose.
The object, the
That guy is
human that broke
unconscious.
my nose. Yes, they are unconscious.
Correct.
Then I have got some brass knuckles. That's my
Right, you did
that's
already
my
have those
weapon.
on.
Oh, they're already out. Okay, good.
Yep, you already
Then
have those on. Don't you worry.
I'm just gonna punch the closest guy. I mean, I know I'm on the ground, but I'm gonna do my best. To
Oh yeah,
punch
there's
the-
two guys really close to you.
Are they facing away from me or?
No, they're scrambling with you on the ground here.
Got it. Okay, well, I'm gonna hopefully try and go for either face or genitals.
Let's
I
kick
guess we'll
some
see.
ass.
Face
What,
or
that roll?
genitals? Don't care. Let's go.
Kick some ass plus tough. All right, so that's an 8.
So with a 7+, you and whatever you're fighting inflict harm on each other. So I think you're gonna inflict 2 harm on one of these gentlemen that are assailing you. That guy is looking pretty rough. You clock him
Did I
right
get
in the side of the
saved?
head. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Right in the side of the head, you've left a brass knuckle imprint. But at the same time, he is scratching at you, and he's leaving some gouges in your arms.
It's a broken.
You're gonna take
bone,
1 harm.
though. What's your harm situation? If I recall, Vern is hurt.
Mhm.
Vern is fucked up. Vern is now only has three life left, but Vern technically cannot die until the mystery is solved.
Oh my
then,
God,
Then
what a
my
broken
injuries
man
catch
for a
up with
short
me,
mission.
and
Vern is very good.
then my
as a
injuries
tank.
catch up to me. Yeah. So I can get fucked up, and I'll just not die until
So,
I know the secret.
That's what happens with your turn here, Vern. You and this miner both hurt each other.
Real quick,
Yes.
what counts, like as far as it goes, what counts as the mystery being solved? Like
What says?
if we discover, like if Vern discovers that it's something inside of the space between the stars or whatever, like
I
is
don't think
Vern
it's that. Well,
suddenly mortal?
the long goodbye just says until you have either completed or abandoned the case. So I guess I could get fucked up enough, and I'm like, I give up, and then I die.
Yeah,
I
Vern
think
gives
because-
up, but I feel like the case specifically was pitched as stopping what is happening here. So, like,
Yeah, if it's completed the case, then yeah,
we don't have to
that's
kill the
okay.
god, but if we can stop the dudes
Oh,
from
no,
doing
yeah.
this, that would kill, or that would like put an end to Vern's business.
Set him
Primus-
free.
And it's not exactly solving the mystery. So even if we know who's done it,
That's
that
We
that's
have
is-
to put a stop to them
stop
because
them.
that's the case.
yeah.
Or if
Primus
I break my
Patchouli
code.
wanted you to investigate this situation and put a stop to it.
Yeah, but I haven't
or if
broken
you
my
break
code
your
yet.
code,
So
correct.
I'm still good.
And what's your code
So yeah, I
again?
can by any means
possible?
necessary. Yeah.
Necessary.
All right,
Okay,
cool,
got it.
Cool.
Same
So
thing,
next
same
up, it's you, D.O.G. 24601.
I've been reviewing my new move, and it says that I can hack into a computer system. We're in the 40K universe. We're sort of in sci-fi space. Does this mining vehicle that I'm near, is that smart enough to be counted as a computer system?
There is definitely a computer system within the mining vehicle. However, it is more than likely that you won't be able to do a whole lot with it without starting the ignition. It will have some minor effects that will be available to you, I would imagine. But until the thing is turned on, a lot of that, like power steering isn't turned on until the vehicle's on.
Okay, DOG gets in the car. DOG is going to hop in the car and have a look at
Hi.
this ignition.
Physically, I'll do it then.
Yeah, let's have a look.
New move.
Because I've got my terrible filament hands. I just want to have a look and see if is it too smart, or can I jam my filaments in there and just sort of make it happen.
Because of the situation that is happening outside of the car, I think this is going to be an act under pressure.
Dog's not cool, so that's a 6.
Oh.
So, Dog, you're sort of scrambling with this ignition, but it's not a type of vehicle that you are familiar with really at all. You've been in a few different vehicles throughout your time as a detective. You've had to commandeer some vehicles on bread-based chases, but this just is kind of completely out of your depth right here. I think you just scramble with it, and you might have a better chance next turn if you continue this line of questioning, but I think for now you're just sort of fiddling with the instruments. Next up, we have Alice Bohm.
All right. You said those still the dude in front of me?
You still have two folks directly in front of you.
Who of them see D.O.G trying to access the computer inside the machine? I want to keep distracting these dudes here. So we're just going to kick some ass. Because she already has her razor whip out, so...
Yeah, that's true. You do have your holy weapon out.
Indeed. 6 and a 5. 11. 13.
Damn.
All right, so with a 13, you
Distract
get to
those
pick an
guys.
enhanced defense. You get to pick an enhanced effect, so you get to do something on the bonus list.
Okay. Your attack drives the enemy away in a route.
Okay, definitely. So I think you're just able to, using your intense whip skills, even these sort of miners that are in a daze, they very much are respecting the distance here. They're both backing directly away from you and away from the group.
Now watch your nay.
So great. You back them towards the passage they came into the room from. And now we get to you, Strahd von Acula.
Strahd.
Acula? Acula.
Acula. The play is Dr. Acula.
Oh.
Dracula.
Dr. Acula.
He's a vampire.
It's not Dracula.
Dr. Dracula. Strahd. Okay, so I have this guy. I've just had this vision, and the vision again was of what's her name? And then
Reva Kayak.
Reva Kayak, and behind her this massive shadowy force. Have I been kicked out of that, or am I still like mentally there? Like, can I probe further here? Can I like make this my battlefield?
I think you can, but I think the thought of doing that terrifies you. You can do with that what you will, but this is unlike anything that you've ever experienced before.
Is Reva Kayak enough information? I mean, it is, but I feel like the point of a monster hunt. No, the point of a monster hunt. I'm gonna dig a little deeper because we got to know about this monster. Reva Kayak is not the monster. The monster is behind her. So we're going in. 2d6. This is, I feel like, my magic roll, my weird, because I'm just pushing further in. I think I'm just trying to dig deeper, get more information on the shadowy figure behind Reva.
All right.
Maybe
10.
the monsters are the Reva Kayaks you met along the way.
Goddamn deep.
I hope not.
I hope not.
10.
Y'all know kayak.
And you were doing which move again? I forget.
Use magic.
Use magic. Okay, so on a 10, the magic works without issues. Choose your effect.
Is there a list of effects from Choose Magic?
Yes.
Oh wait, then I think it's
Communicate with something that you do not share language with. Observe another place or time. Trap a specific person, minion, or monster. Banish a spirit or curse from the person, object, or place it inhabits. Do one thing that is beyond human limitation.
Let's rock the communicate with blah 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 blah. The communicate one, because I think that gives me a moment to talk to this thing.
Okay, so I think you reach out with your psychic abilities further past Reva Kayak and deeper into this metaphysical space. But it seems like no matter what you do, no matter how far you reach, you can't approach this shape. Either it's too far away or it's too massive that it has some sort of force that is repelling you. But as you are continuing in this space, you do see something else of interest. You see it's another relatively shadowy shape, but you can see the outline. It is a writhing mass. It is a giant snake-shaped or worm-shaped mass that is moving throughout the physical space, the metaphysical space. But you can see that it is moving directly in the direction of the giant mass. So whatever it is that you're feeling here, the feeling that you get is that this worm shape it's also trying to do the same thing that you're doing here. It's trying to reach out for the shadowy mass. Boy, it's hard to do magical visions, but I think that's what we're looking at.
No, that gives me a lot to play with. Okay, can I just...
I think you also get the feeling that it too isn't getting any closer to the mass.
Sure. I still don't know what to do with that, but I have Reva Kayak, and now I have this worm connection, which I fucking love. Really cool foreshadowing early on. I'm gonna snap this guy's neck and then move on with our game. I don't need this guy anymore.
I think you're
Vern, don't
I
go
think you're
there.
not going to be able to do that because one of them is inflicting harm. That's one of the magical abilities that is part of the use magic move. But you can definitely ready that action for next turn. Whenever it
Oh,
comes
sick.
back
Okay.
around
Yeah,
to you.
yeah.
You'll be ready to snap his neck once you've
I'm in his brain.
What
hopped
if the
into your
worm is our
body.
friend?
No.
Um,
The guy that the worm's our friend. That's fine too. But the guy that I'm in his brain on. We're
Oh,
investigators. Basically,
kill
we're
this
cops. Yeah, I'm
innocent
just gonna
minor.
kill this guy. Yeah. We're murdering the miners. That's I think what we settled on.
So what happens next is stepping around the corner behind this jumble of crowd of people through the path that the miners originally came into this room. Out steps Reva Kayak. Except she looks a little bit different now. You guys remember that she had long blonde hair. Currently, she is bald. But at the top of her head, you see a little, it looks to be maybe a jewel or a little purple stone or perhaps a carapace sitting on top of her head. And she says, "Oh my God. You investigators are a disgrace. It took you this long to get this close? The time has already come. You're too late." And then you see her reach up to her lapel and she speaks into a microphone and she says, "Attention everyone, it's time to begin." And you all see a couple of things and you feel a couple of things in this moment. The first thing that happens is Reva outstretches her hands and you see the air becomes chilled. You see frost form on the ground around her. Sort of like the dew that you see that freezes late at night whenever the temperature's gotten low enough. It's just centered around her, and you see a bubble appear around Reva Kayak. It's a very thin, almost translucent bubble, but that you see this this appearance of force around her. Then, all of the miners that you folks are engaging with, the lower sections of their shirts tear open, and a third arm extends out from their stomachs. This also happens with Reva whenever she outstretches her arm. The lower section of her shirt tears and a third arm appears. And these arms only have 3 fingers on them. All of them have long talons. And then, off in the distance, deeper in the mines, you all begin to feel a rhythmic thump. Thump. Thump.
It's the third arms.
And then, in the opposite direction of that thump,
Rumble.
you begin to feel a very, very soft rumble.
Rumble. It's the worm. It's coming.
Jen.
The worm.
Okay. I, as a player, desperately did not want to interrupt this really cool description you were doing. But
And now I'm done.
I know, and I didn't want to interrupt it. I wanted you to get through it. But when she said it's time to begin, I feel like Strahd has a move he could have made in this like breath of a moment before, like, you know, like right when I have heard that right behind me.
Okay.
To attempt to do something to Reva, but I don't know if does that change anything, or can I make this attempt?
I think you can make an attempt. I think, sure. I like that. Most of the things I think that are happening, you can't interrupt here, but
Correct.
you might be able to with a good roll here.
Stop.
Because
my goal, once you said force field, I was like, dang, now I wish I would have said something early on, because I know that, like...
Yeah, you as a demon, you're technically a psychic entity yourself, and she is reaching into the warp and utilizing magic that way.
Perfect.
And you would be very familiar with this feeling. You do essentially the same thing with your life draining abilities.
So I know Reva Kayak's the bad guy. I feel like I have my back to her. I want to drop the dude and spin around, and I want to shoot her with my gun. Right in the
Aim
crystal.
for the purple. Yes.
I
aim
have
for
a
the rock.
magnum, and I want to fucking shoot her in the head in the crystal.
What kind of doctor are you?
It's been in my
One
pocket.
with a gun.
It's been in my pocket this whole time. It's my safety.
He's a doctor
A
like
giant magnum?
Indiana Jones is an archaeologist.
Exactly.
Go with it.
Exactly.
I
I just
see,
have
I
this gun,
see.
and I've had it. It was a choice of my weapon in the beginning, which is absolutely absurd to give a monster a gun.
We'll just interpose just for a moment here. Reva is just at the moment after saying let's begin, and she's extending her arms as we speak right now, and that frost is beginning to form around her. And in bullet time, we turn to Strahd von Acula drawing his magnum.
It's not a good roll, so I have to do well on the roll. Like, my bonus is -1. All right, we got this. We
Are
got
your
this.
dice made of? Are your dice made of jingle bells?
Double sixes! Critical!
Okay. So
I blew
Holy shit! Sorry, Lawrence.
Reva
Reva Kayak turns around and begins to do this thing that she does. And you draw your magnum and you spin around and you shoot her and it hits her. Oh boy, does it hit her right at the very tippy top. And it, as magnums do, rips straight through her little old skull. And yeah, she collapses immediately on the ground. She is inert, and all of the miners that you guys are fighting begin to scream.
That's right.
And I think what happens next is, I mean, they're not going to do anything because they're just screaming. So
I imagine the thumping starts still, and the rumbling
still starts, and the rumbling does still start. And I think, no, I think we're just going to go back to Vernon Bradley. I think it's your turn. You have an injured guy and another guy.
Screaming now, right?
Earlier. You're right.
Yeah. They do have their third arms out, but those are all raised up in the air with the other two. They're just screaming.
Icky. I am going to make my way over to Reva's empty husk, and
you cannot. You do still have two dudes on you.
But they're screaming. They're just screaming.
They
now,
are
and their
screaming,
arms are
but I
raised up.
mean, their body, the rest of their bodies are on you. Like,
so they're sitting on me with all three of their arms.
Yeah, pretty
up?
much.
Ah, beans. Okay.
They got two more legs
Fine.
each.
Then I guess I'm gonna do some more punching, probably aiming just for the genitals since they're sitting on top of me.
This is Vern's way of the fist.
All right. So that is
genital pot shots.
That's an 11. Oh no. I'm about to lay waste to some NARS, I think.
Just fucking repeated genital pot shots.
So you choose one extra effect. You gain the advantage. Take +1 forward or give +1 to another hunter. You inflict terrible harm, which is +1 harm.
Yeah, found it.
Or you can force them where you want them.
I'm gonna inflict some terrible harm, please.
Okay, yeah, you punch this guy in the nuts, and he like lifts about 1.5 feet in the air, stops screaming, and doesn't move anymore.
Oh no!
Oh, that's all you wanted. Please.
Vern, get shit done, okay?
And now it's Dog's turn. Dog, you saw that through the window of the car.
Exquisite.
Actually, you saw a lot of things through the window of the car. You had quite the view from up here in this vehicle.
Vern's just fucking looking at his gun and back at the husk and back at his gun.
Oh, beans.
It's all marvelous from this view of safety. Okay, so talk to me. I don't actually know. This is a car that I'm inside of right now. It's like a sort of a Hummer kind of a situation, or what are we talking about?
So imagine a plus size SUV with treads instead of wheels. And then the front end of it has sort of like a dump truck with a little
kind of like a snow shovel bit.
Yeah, kind of like that. Yeah, except it is basically the whole front of the vehicle is this giant snow shovel thing, and there are grinders built inside of the snow shovel thing. So there are little windows that you can see through, so you can see into the front of the vehicle, but pretty much your whole front view is just grinders. This vehicle is used to bore holes to deepen the mine.
Okay, so this is the proverbial rock grinder that we've been interacting with, sort of. Is it the only one, or are there others in the space?
There's only two that it only has the space to store 2 of these in this space. And the other one was stolen. This was the original one of the scenes of the crime that you were originally tasked to go check out. So there would have been 2 here normally, but there's only 1.
Okay, so pros and cons. We can probably find the keys by searching one of these folks. Con, I did fully wrench 2 pipes off of the bottom of this vehicle. So I all right. Dog's gonna call out the window, we'd best find the keys, and then he's gonna see about this computer system that maybe he can hack it independent of starting the car and, open some doors or find a map or something.
Roll me some bones.
Dog is +1 sharp, so potential here. 7 to 9. Pick 1. Leave no traces. Learn something important. Leave misinformation in place, or gain access to somewhere you want to get into. I think it's going to be that last one. I want to gain access to safety, and I would like to open the doors as we go, and then maybe bore straight to the surface if that's possible. Maybe we can try and route our way to my ally, whose name I've forgotten, and pick him up. I don't know.
To the surface, like to run away, because we're like the end. It sounds like the beating of the whatever, like the rhythmic beating is probably where we want to head.
Yeah, I think
We want to bore down and like try and get it with this car.
Either that or the worm's gonna get it, and then maybe we've failed our job. I feel like this is part of our job at this point, isn't it? Like, unless the worm just eats it.
To be fair, only you've had the visions, Strahd. So all these other people are just acting on current situation.
Oh, fuck me.
Yeah, it's bad down here.
Okay. I pull myself together, looking at my gun. I say, let's see.
Well, really quick, what happens is, with D.O.G's role for safety, what happens is you're able to get access to the emergency applications features inside of this rock grinding machine. What that gives you access to is you get full access of the unlocking and locking of the door. You can pull up the blast shields and start the emergency life services. And you have the emergency evacuation protocol, which will essentially put the vehicle vertical and take you to the surface as soon as possible. And then, technically, Alice is next, but we can go straight to you, Strahd, and then we'll do Alice after.
Less of an action,
Great.
more just like, all right, Reva, taken care of. Obviously, the big brains behind the operation. Something quite a bit bigger is a little bit deeper down. If we can get down there, if you guys have felt that rumbling, I believe it may be similar to the rumbling we felt out in the desert. Maybe the same. So we should either get out of here or just get to what it's trying to get to before it can get here. Because this whole place, I imagine, will go up or down when it makes it here.
Do you know what it is trying to get to?
I do not. Reva might have, but truthfully, I just meant to destroy the crystal. But my shot is really good. I wish I had more than 5 more shots because
shot her
holy
in the
Christ.
head with a magnum.
This is
I was
good
just trying to
gun.
destroy the crystal, guys.
I bought this for personal safety. I've never actually used it before. Jesus Christ.
This world needs better gun laws.
Well, it does seem that you found your calling. I found a button that will get us to the surface should we press it. But since we've got that, perhaps we don't need to press it immediately. Has anyone found the keys yet?
Alice, it is your
Not quite.
turn. The rest of the miners are still screaming.
Lovely.
Except for one.
Doctor,
Except for the unconscious
take
one
him
and the
back.
other unconscious one holding his nuts.
Who's moaning just quietly in his unconscious sleep.
He's holding his nuts with 3 hands.
3 hands. I love that. Dr. Strahd, if we could just bring her back, church might have methods to do something if we can ask her questions. Wait a minute, this is a giant worm coming.
Yeah, she's not the most forward on our plate at this moment. Now that she's taken care of, I feel well, it could be good for information. If you can, great, but I've got 5 more bullets if she acts up. When I flex with the gun.
Personally, I didn't like it when she was around.
I also did not like her very much. She was mean.
So remind me, this
Grace loved
there's
Reva
the-
Kayak.
freaking it's the worm that's coming with the rumbling and stuff. And are we trying to escape?
I think my pitch is that we go deeper into the mine to figure out what the rhythmic banging is, because I feel like that, like the rumbling from the worm only started once the rhythmic banging started. So like if we can figure out what that is and get to the bottom of it, maybe we can stop the worm from destroying the whole place. Because technically that isn't a failure of the job. We would have still stopped them from stealing stuff if we just escaped and let the worm do its business here. Like technically we stop them. Maybe we can grimdark explain our way into how that's actually a success. But so we don't have to rely on the failure of conversation, we can check out the
Well, they
rhythmic
can't steal
eating.
if they're all, worm food.
Everyone's dead. The mine is gone. There's nothing to steal.
Yay, solution.
I'm here for that. Let's get after this banging. Maybe we can stop whoever's drumming. And call it solved.
It's always good to have a backup.
Let me roll to investigate a mystery then, so I can find out and how to go deeper into the mines.
Yeah. Love that.
Wait, it's a 7.
So with a 7, I think you get to ask one question.
Yes. I'm gonna ask what is being concealed here for hopefully the purpose of a way to go back deeper into the mine, like an entrance or something like that.
Yeah, you just reach in the pockets of the 2 miners that are screaming in front of you, and you find a key ring in both of their pants. One of the key rings has 3 keys on it. The other one has 2 keys on it.
Nice. Do I know where these are gonna go to, or they're just for doors?
You don't know. And I think a couple more things are going to happen here based on this little time you're spending here. So the screaming continues, and then both a couple people come onto the scene. The first person who crests the hallway is the HR director, Orm Varys. And he leans around the corner and he
hold
says,
my gun out to him.
"Well, what the heck is going on down here?" And he turns his corner and he goes, "Holy shit!" And he goes back down the hallway.
Whose team are you on?
You guys just hear him running away in the other direction.
All right. Good.
And then
Smart
the
boy.
miners slowly stop screaming and begin to take fighting stances once again. Shortly after that happens, a vent grate from the air vent several hundred feet above you folks that falls to the ground. And then the miners begin to lash out at the people that they're in front of. So, Alice, you have 2 miners in front of you. They've got 3 hands each.
Beautiful. That's
only one of them. Only one of them is actually going to hurt you, so you're just going to take 1 harm.
Ouch.
Vern, you have 1 miner still on top of you.
Yeah, Vern didn't even get to stand this whole time.
He doesn't hurt you. And
Oh,
then
hell yeah.
there is 1 miner in front of Strahd. He also doesn't hurt you, Strahd. So lucky days. That's all 4 of the miners. And now we go back. Vern.
All right. Well, not to,
No, Strahd.
Huh?
Strahd.
You want to go first?
No, I just want to go.
So you do want to go first.
No. The last turn. All I did was talk. I just like explained to them the situation so that they could make
I see.
actions with the right information in mind.
Then we just skipped you. Yes. So
Yeah.
you go ahead, and then the miners will be done on their.
Yeah, the miners can attack me. I'm going to.
They're already done. Don't worry.
Yeah, I'm going to. I think I'm just gonna reach out psychically. This seems to be working. I'm gonna let this miner. He can't hit me anyway. I'm gonna reach out, just like psychically deeper into the mines to see if I can find us a like path or a like more of a like location sensing of where this like powerful magic is coming from that the worm is sensing. So use magic to do that if it's not an ability. Then the subhuman thing. 11.
With an 11, it just does it, and you don't have a glitch. So I'm gonna give you observe another place or time.
Yes.
So you see, it's sort of like is an out of body experience. You leave your perception, and you phase through the rock. You're going several floors down, probably about 10 floors deeper into the mine. And then there is some sort of barrier that has been placed there. You're able to get around it via your psychically reaching out. This is a physical barrier, like a stone wall. And on the other side of it, you see a very large group of miners, all of them with seismic hammers, rhythmically hitting the ground around a giant black obelisk. And this black obelisk is emanating purple lightning. And it has a very threatening aura. And all of these miners are, again, pretty much acting in unison, hitting the ground around this obelisk altogether.
All right, I think I'm seeing something down there that the worm might be after. It's pretty deep. I explain whatever pathing I can. I know that I don't have like the path to it, but like the direction and like how far away from me it was. There seems to be a lot more miners down there, so maybe we should not distract ourselves too long with these guys.
All right, the miners do their thing that they did, and then we're back to Vern.
Well, I guess I'm just gonna have to punch this last guy again because I don't have any weapons, so besides my brass knuckles.
Besides these nut punchers.
Okay. So that's an 8.
So with an 8, I think you, with your brass knuckles, this guy, he's gonna be able to get you a little scratch with this unexpected third arm, inflicting 1 harm to you. And then you're just gonna punch him and lay him out. Once again, he does not make any more noise. He is just unconscious on the ground next to you.
Oh yeah. Wow, Vern is just good thing Vern lives for a bit because of his thing. Otherwise, Vern would be in trouble.
Yeah, it's nice that I can just hurt Vern as much as I want.
I mean, to a point, and then eventually it's just now we're just like I'm a ghost, just waiting to happen.
Being able to hurt Vern as much as I want.
I am a ghost. How am I ever gonna pass on? I must complete this case. So Vern, you have laid out. There are only 3 conscious miners remaining. D.O.G, it is back to thee.
Everyone get in the vehicle.
Okay.
Yeah.
Face.
You do that.
Yeah. Alice has got the keys, so let's just start her up. We've got, 5 shots at it, I suppose. Does any of them look like a car key?
Do they? We'll have to roll a risk.
4 of them look like car keys, and 1 of them doesn't look like a car key.
All but 1.
I mean, we have they're key. Just like put them in until 1 does work, because if it doesn't work, it just doesn't fit. You know what I mean? It's not like we're gonna blow up the car. Unless,
yeah, we just try them until we get it.
This is the car blow up key. Do not use this key.
So Strahd, I think you're the only one who's gonna need to give me a disengage move, because Alice in the previous turn used her advanced move to keep these 2 people off of her, and Vern, you don't have anybody on you anymore.
Okay, I have a move called Mental Dominion. I'd like to try to use on this guy just to get him to stand down and not attack me as I run away. Which is when I gaze into a normal human's eyes and exert my... Well, are they normal humans anymore?
I would say third arm would lead me to believe probably not.
They are not
also
humans.
Most of them that have had hair do not have hair anymore. The hair is all
I
just
have
sort
the
of falling
move.
off.
I have taken a move that I can use manipulate on monsters.
That would work.
So okay. Yes. Cool. Roll plus charm to get him to just not attack me as I pass by. 11. Man, I'm on fire today. No experience, but Dr. Strahd is feeling it.
Great. You can do whatever it says that you can do. I don't have that.
No, yeah, charm.
Oh, never mind. It's just manipulate someone, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. I was. Yes. It is just manipulate someone. Basically, just back down.
He gives you a thumbs up with his third arm, and you leave.
Shoot him, and then he shoots.
Yeah, he doesn't. He also doesn't like looking at you, so it just sort of makes sense.
Yeah, I think narratively I turn to him and I flex some of that space out a little bit and he like takes a couple steps back and I say that's right. And I hold up my gun like he's scared of my gun.
Oh yeah, he's terrified of your gun. He did have enough sense to realize what happened there. So so while everyone's climbing into the vehicle, you hear coming running down the hallway, first just one set of footsteps and then many sets of footsteps. And then cresting in the hallway, you see the familiar face of Yark Subam, the manager of the mine, still holding his plate of half-cooked fish. And he enters the room and he says, "Hey, can I come with you guys, please? Oh shit, that's Reva Kayak. Cool. Can I come though, please?" And he keeps looking behind himself.
He has to leave the fish.
You have to leave
I
the
think.
fish. You have to leave the fish.
Leave the fish.
He throws the fish behind his back and he runs for the vehicle with you guys.
Sure, but you have to sit next to me.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I'm used to being ordered around by a slightly unsettling entity. This is perfectly normal for me, Yark Subam, manager of the mine. All right, where are we going? Can we go now, please? Can we lock the door?
Yeah, let's start up the emergency life support and also the blast shielding or whatever that was, and get to tunneling, I guess. Or if you've got a route that involves less tunneling, that'll probably be faster.
I think that the route I saw was straight through walls, so I can point in the direction it is and we can go that way. Otherwise, I think we would be lost in the mines.
Yark Subam points at you, Vern, and he says, "Yeah, I think this guy has a question."
Well, I was just saying that we probably could just ask the manager of the mines. He probably knows an efficient way to get down there, right? Because
where are we going? Are we not going to the surface away from all these people? And you guys hear like the thump of probably about 30 pairs of hands all thumping on the outside of the vehicle.
Sorry, guys,
but we gotta go down and solve the mystery.
Oh no!
No, there's an obelisk.
What?
The what?
It didn't seem like a normal fixture of the mine. I'm not sure. You know about an obelisk with people slamming hammers around it? Big magical obelisk?
No. I mean, we mine ceramite here.
It's that way?
Not big black obelisks.
About X amount of feet?
Oh, you mean 10 floors down and a little to the left?
Yeah, that one.
That's been closed off for years. We haven't used that in a long time.
Perfect. We've got this tunneler. You want to come down there with us? Well, you're in the car, so you're coming down there with us.
Okay.
We're about to make some people line with these treads, I think.
You can either get out here or you can come down there with us.
No, I'll stay in here, please.
Yeah, not only do we have treads, but we've got the front of us is grinders. So we're, shit's about to get juicy.
So many fingers are about to get just absolutely crinkled.
Yeah, so D.O.G's gonna bring us around to the left and, into the wall. Do the people outside have anything that they can do about that?
So the first thing that happens is, D.O.G, you're handed these 2 key rings, and you begin cycling through them, trying to figure out which one is the correct ignition key. While you're doing that, you do continue to hear the thump, but it's pretty far away. Like, they're not hitting it very hard. This is a very hardy vehicle. But then you do hear on the roof of the vehicle, which is strange because it's very high up, you hear a very hefty thump, and then what sounds like metal being shorn. Like, have you ever heard what sheet metal sounds like when it's being bent apart? It sounds like that. It's a very loud screeching noise. And you're hearing that coming from the roof. So you start doing that a little bit quicker, and you do eventually find the correct key, and you begin to bring the vehicle around. The miners on the outside of the vehicle definitely can't do anything about this. And you do feel the whatever is going on the roof, it jumps off of you. And the screeching sound stops.
Oh.
Now,
and we just hear some vague crunching stuff.
Yeah, I think let's do a act under pressure for you, D.O.G. See how well you can manage this vehicle here.
I'd like to request some help. Historically, I'm not known as being particularly cool.
Alice, do you want to help him? Are you a driver?
I have +1 cool.
I'll try. To cool, I only have +1 as well.
I rolled a 10, so we'll be a-okay.
Oh,
Dog can tap into his delivery days. Maybe he drove a delivery.
I gave him a location 50 feet away or whatever, 10 floors
Or
down. And
Dogmanos, whatever
Yeah.
it was called.
no, that was
Dogmanos.
exactly it. Dogmanos.
So, Dog, you are able to manage this pretty well. And you drive your way through a pretty big crowd of the miners, but once you get those grinders started, just goes through those guys like butter. And then you begin starting on the wall, and it doesn't go through that like butter, it goes through that like rocks.
Like a rock wall.
But it is built to do that, so you're able to make it pretty quickly going down this path. It is a little bit slow going. So I think we have a moment here where you can come up with some sort of game plan for what you're going to do here. Keep in mind, this is the same vehicle that Vern and Dr. Acula were spying on initially. So this is loaded up pretty well. There's a lot of different pieces of mining equipment. There's a couple of shape charges. There's a lot of different things. Yeah. There's a lot of different things in the back of this vehicle that could be used pretty interestingly.
How many sledgehammer miners did I witness in my vision surrounding this obelisk?
Somewhere between 100 and 200, I would say.
Oh, hot Christ. I was thinking like 15 at most.
No,
Oh,
How
my
long-
God.
It's about half. It's about half the
If you
current population of the mine.
If you had to guess, if we just like gassed it as fast as this thing could go and just started mowing down as many as we could, would that work? And we just like full throttle, like just totally whipping the ends around, just mowing down as many folk as we can.
I
Would that
mean,
work?
hypothetically,
You said it goes
that
like
would
butter.
Probably work.
It's 100 sticks of butter.
These folks are all armed with mining equipment. So at some point, they might be able to do enough damage to it to, immobilize it, disable the grinders, do something to it. That's just a lot of bodies. It's a pretty big vehicle, but it is a lot of dudes.
How waterproof is the vehicle?
It can be completely sealed. It has its own air supply. It's sort of built to where, should it be caved in to the point where it is immobile, you could live long enough inside of it to be rescued.
Was there a map of the mine in this computer?
No, but Yark Subam hands you his GPS phone, and he's like, "Well, sorry, he's not Southern. This is all of the mapped portions of the mine. Clearly, whatever's going on is happening in additional mining areas. Not anything that I've known about in my tenure here as the mining manager."
So here's what I'm thinking. Are there any large bodies of water for this mine, for water main, for high pressure work? Anything we could use perhaps to flood this chamber? I'm willing to bet that these 200 miners might not be able to continue the drumming if they're all drowned.
Yark,
And
he takes a deep
and
breath.
astute observation, Dog.
Yark, he takes a deep breath and he says, "Well, yes, but you're not gonna like it.
Is it the poo-poo pee-pee water?
It is the proverbial poo-poo pee-pee water. There is a septic pipe that does run
A
directly
second backup option.
above
Good to know.
the mine.
I live in shit water. So terrible way to go.
I mean, honestly, it's a fine thing. Like, I can get over the charismatic negative of being covered in shit water on the boss fight. So that, I love that idea. I think, well, hold on. I think that is a great idea, D.O.G. 24601. But in the event that we do not want to, do we want to get to the bottom of this obelisk? Do we want to stop this obelisk? If we flood it,
Well-
are we going to be able to examine it in any further way for the whatever his name is? I would know it, of course.
Primus Patchouli.
Primus Patchouli.
Here's what I'm thinking is that we do have these shaped charges, if we can just get near the water main, place these charges, and then drill our way straight down to the obelisk chamber, we've made a fun little tunnel for all of that nasty water to follow us down should we need it.
I think that what Dr. Acula is saying, Dog, is that if we cover the obelisk in the sewage water, how will we be able to access it to see if it's the source of the mind control, if it's the reason for the worm connection? Although I do think at the same time we also can't access it if we've been run down by 200 3-armed miners. So either way.
That's 600 arms.
It's 100 extra arms.
I think if we leave these charges there, they're mining charges, so I would assume that they would detonate either after some time or when they receive a signal. We need.
Speaks up and he says, "Yeah, you just push that button," and he points at a button on the dash. That button, that's the one that will make the mining charges go off. That button, and he's really pointing at it.
Slap his hand.
It's
Slap.
a very clear button that'll take us to the surface.
If we have that prepared, if we can distract these miners or do some other way of preventing them from summoning whatever they're summoning, preferable. Certainly, but in the event that it's meet our proverbial unmaker or cover this obelisk in refuse, I know which one I vote for.
Sure, definitely. Setting the charges, drilling down, a fine idea. I think we should drill down and around, because if we drill straight down, we have a drop, and we want this vehicle for the assumed fight ahead of us. I have done a pretty decent job of connecting with whatever is going on here. So if we are able to get me up close to the crystal, maybe I can work my magics, and I also look at my gun to really get this crystal taken care of. But I will need some time if you guys can just distract with the easy backup plan of flooding the chamber and leaving if we need.
My last thought is that when you were describing this obelisk, didn't you say it had lightning? So shouldn't we not add water to a lightning rock?
I do remember saying that out loud.
Electrified shit water, which sounds like extra. We'd be safe inside from electric shock should the water become electrified.
He turns around to you and he says, "I don't know. I've never been electric shocked while I've been working in the mines."
Well, I know I'll be okay at least.
I never said it was a good plan. Simply that it was it would accomplish our ends. I don't know if we'd survive, but
fair enough.
Maybe a good last plan.
I remember that you're really good at setting up worse situations than we were in before. So maybe as like a last-ditch effort, we could keep that on the roster.
So I think at this current moment, we're going to need to decide on a final plan. So you as a party, pick a representative, and then that's what somebody's going to speak, and that's what we're committing to here. So what are we doing? Where are these shape charges going? How are we going to figure this out?
It sounds like we're going to put shape charges on the sewer main. We're going to drill down to the crystal level. We're going to come out, hopefully on a level with the crystal. We're going to drive across a bunch of miners, probably, and then we're going to hold them off, last stand, Lord of the Rings style, while Strahd communes with something.
Dungeons, Drive-Ins, and Dice, Children of the Stars is DM'd by Lawrence Jennings. The players this season are Dante Quiles playing Alice Bohomme, Gabe Stringer playing D.O.G 24601, Grace Stringer playing Vernon Bradley, and myself, M. Williams, playing Dr. Strahd von Acula. I know I said this episode would be the finale of Children of the Stars, folks, but alas, the recording just had so much. So, we've split the episode into 2 parts, the next coming out next week, so you don't have to wait too long. You can find the art for the season along with items, monsters, spells, and all sorts of other 5e content over on Instagram at DDADPOD. That's DDADPod. Make sure to check us out over there. Next time will be the finale, folks. We will see you on December 28th. Since the beginning, I've been just like so excited to pull out my gun, and I'd like, goddamn, if that was
You did it. You
perfect
really pulled
moment.
out.
I had no idea you had a
pumped
gun.
to be able to play Reva Kayak
I
for a little
know.
while longer, and then
Me
you just
too, I love
murdered her
Reva.
ass.
I truly, as a player, loved Reva Kayak, and am mad that I had to execute her with it. But still,
Anything
it had
other
to
than a
happen.
crit, I would have let her live just barely. But like, no,
The only thing I've ever
Oh.
gotten.